After all my childhood reading, it seemed fitting that in this country of headhunters and cannibals, the first boat that came along happened to contain a missionary. Father Nico was making a pastoral visit to some far-flung members of his flock, the inhabitants of the village of Yobi. I hadn't realised that anyone actually lived in this mosquito-ridden swamp, and I couldn't imagine why anyone would want to, until Father Nico gave me a history lesson.
They live because they want to escape from headhunters. Headhunters.
Headhunters?
Yes.
So they came here to escape?
Yes.
So this was a refuge?
Yes. It happened around 100 years ago.
Fleeing the ferocious headhunting raids on the mainland, one group had ended up in the middle of this island. They must have been particularly scared, because when they'd arrived, there was no dry land to live on. They'd built it all by hand. It was like entering a tropical Venice, a swampy Shangri-La. Father Nico had brought me into that most unlikely of places, a nice bit of swamp.
Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Bapak tua.
So, Nico, this whole island is just completely man-made, is it?
Yes.
Really solid, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly.
I don't believe it. And with their own coconut palms and...
I sort of had my doubts at times with Nico. I didn't voice them at the time. But we were penetrating deeper and deeper into the swamp. I just couldn't believe anyone would actually live here.
But the best thing about it was that there didn't seem to be any mosquitoes here at all.
I mean, it's just not the way you expect. I mean, lots of aspects of this place are not what you'd expect. Do you want to live in the middle of a swamp? No, thank you very much. But you come here and you can see why people do. There's not one mosquito. It's bright sunshine. It's a really beautiful spot. I don't think paradise is too strong a word. I'm going to enjoy myself here, I can tell.
And frankly, thank God. After the mosquito hell I'd suffered with Jack, this place turned out to be the perfect spot for a bit of R&R on my journey north to find the Kombai. As I was given a guided tour, it became clear that although the largest piece of dry land is no bigger than a tennis court, the people of Yobi flourish here. Permanently surrounded by water, they have embraced their environment and become one with their swamp. Just as forests are often described as the lungs of the world, so swamps can be thought of as its kidneys. Wet, lowland basins like this act like giant water filters, trapping and recycling vital nutrients and maintaining the planet's water quality. But best of all, in Yobi, all this mud, swamp, rain and sun created one of the most fertile environments I'd ever seen. The vegetables they grew were varied, plentiful and enormous.
It's heavy too.
4 kilos.
4 kilos, yeah. It's a hefty one. I mean, to me, that's a big yam.
We'd arrived in time for their swampy version of a country harvest festival, complete with the largest vegetable competition.
So, our coconuts are bigger than your coconuts, sort of thing.
It seemed that the best gardener assumed the right to walk off with his neighbour's veg as well, but in this land of plenty, nobody seemed to mind. It started raining during the competition, and it continued all night. By the next morning, the water level was rising alarmingly.
And the island I'm on is in danger of being cut in two as the water level rises. And this whole place, it's difficult to know the distinction between land and water. I mean, where does murky water become land and sodden land become water? You just can't really tell. Earlier on today I saw a fish jump out of the water and start making its way across the land. It took about 20 minutes. It took a little rest and then a puddle, and then continued on its way. You know, even the fish don't seem to know the difference.
On the third day, the communal nature of their survival here was brought home to me as the whole village turned out to perform their own minor miracle, turning water into land. While some of the villagers cleared a space in the rushes for the new island, Nico and I went to the outskirts of the village to help bring in its main building blocks, rafts of floating root mats.
That's floating, is it? We nearly disappeared. Oh no, here, it's back. It's back. It's like magic.
Come on, you can cut us.
Gosh, yeah, I know. Come on. It is like magic, isn't it?
Mister,
Huh?
tata potong.
Cut it.
Okay. Angkat.
Yes. Gosh, it's actually really easy to cut, isn't it? It's like cutting a cake. Yes. I can't believe that the entire village is made from bits of this stuff. We are pushing, Nico. Thank you very much for the advice.
Back in the village, the island builders stacked up layers of grass, mud and the chunks of floating roots like a huge lasagna. Eventually, it all hit the bottom. Instant terra firma. But they have to pile it up at least 2 meters above the waterline, so that when the island dries out and sinks back into the swamp, it doesn't disappear completely. Nevertheless, it would be another 3 years before it would be solid enough for anyone to live on this island.
I want to rest, but as soon as I rest, I do this.
I felt I'd turned a corner in my swamp experience. I was no longer repelled by the mud and the wet. Like the people of Yobe, I'd learnt to love it.
Now I'm a real swamp owl again.
After my muddy baptism, the villagers told me they were going to name the new island after me. So I'm happy to say that there is some corner of a foreign swamp that is forever Pulau Nick.
People are very happy in this place.
Of course they are. They really are, aren't they?
That is really happy.
My time in Yobe had come to an end. I had to leave the restful village and head for the interior of the Papuan mainland, the very place whence these gentle people had fled. I was flying north in search of the treehouse-dwelling Kombai of the Papuan interior. They live a semi-nomadic life 190 kilometers inland, lost in this vast, desolate, swampy floodplain. It takes weeks to travel overland into Kombai territory, which is the main reason they have remained so isolated. The only person who was prepared to take me into this area was another missionary, John Cutts. His parents had made first contact with the Moni tribe of the Papuan Highlands when he was just 2 years old, and ever since John has been roaming the places where the maps go blank, contacting people who have never seen a white man before.
And it can end up being a very rewarding time. It can also be a scary time because I mean you're talking to people who you arrive and it's like a Martian landing in their yard. They're not sure who you are and what your reasons are for being there.
It sounds like it's going to be potentially a little bit scary.
That's why I brought my running shoes along.
Now you tell me, John. I've only brought my boots.
We landed as close to the tree houses as we could at Yaniruma, a small village established by missionaries 20 years ago, when they had first attempted to contact the tribes here. But the Kombai believe that the arrival of white men will bring about the end to their universe, and the missionaries had failed to convert more than a handful.
There's witchcraft issues where they're afraid of being poisoned by the other clan, the other tribe, and it causes tensions that you and I may not really be familiar with.
It made me feel decidedly uneasy when John explained that their general mistrust of outsiders and their belief in ritualized cannibalism are still very much alive today. The next morning, John managed to find some porters from a neighbouring tribe, and although they were initially reluctant to take us into Kombai territory, we set off on the 2-day trek. The trail was atrocious, but this area has an annual average rainfall 9 times that of the UK, so we were lucky that the rains were late this year. But the humidity was heading for saturation point, the mosquitoes were back, and after just a few hours I was hurting. John, though, seemed thoroughly at home. As a missionary, he was used to living for weeks, if not months, away from civilization. And on several occasions, his ability to find food and water from the swamp had saved his life.
Oh, beautiful.
That's the better trick right there. All right.
Slightly tricky drinking like that, but it's beautiful, fresh, and really cool, isn't it?
And you know what?
What?
Don't have to worry about amoebas, don't have to worry about boiling it. It's...
But what I can't get over is the fact that that looks like half a dozen other bloody vines.
Well, you want to make sure you pick the right one, because if you pick the wrong one, rather than being refreshed, we could be putting you away forever.
Late that afternoon, we finally emerged from the gloom at the Dariam-Hitam River, the edge of Kombai territory. But there was a problem. It seemed that our porters, who came from the neighbouring Korawai tribe, were scared of the Kombai's magic and wanted to stay firmly on this side of the river.
They're saying we're going to need to find someone else to pick up the loads and go on from here.
What, like this is a boundary between the territories or something?
Exactly.
Quite where that left us, I wasn't too sure, though John didn't seem too concerned. He reckoned that with a bit more negotiating, they'd change their minds, and since it was late, we spent the night at a nearby Korawai hunting camp.
I really do feel as if I'm in the heart of nowhere now. Just the talk of witchcraft is starting to bother me a bit. And although John says that people who are accused of witchcraft could be within a group, I'm damn sure that outsiders must be top of the list of suspects. And I'm a serious outsider. And you know, it's not just witchcraft, it's you're the witch, and then they go out and kill you, and chop your head off.
After a fitful night's sleep, we returned to the river. John once again proved his worth. He managed to persuade some of the porters to take us at least as far as the edge of the nearest Kombai village. We set about building a raft.
You sure it's going to float, John?
Yes, it is. This is a balsa-type wood, and they've got 2 layers here of wood, and it's going to float fine.
John seemed confident enough, but I had my doubts. A length of rattan was strung across the river to stop us being carried away by the current, but this stuff is razor sharp, so John recommended I use gloves. Socks were all I had.
Are they clean?
Yeah, they are, actually.
Okay.
Remarkably.